damn phones. Babylons can't crack the code.
Before the 2021 college football season, I made a video about 5 college football players that I thought were going to have breakout seasons in 2021. In that video, I talked about them in 2020 and why I thought they were going to be breaking out in 2021. In today's video, I will be revisiting that video, talking about those 5 college football players, talking about how they did this season. Did they really break out? Was I right? Was I wrong? And what I think they're going to do in 2022. Before I move on with the video, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, as we are on the road to 10K. Now let's get into it. The first guy that I talked about in that video was then Oklahoma wide receiver Jadon Haselwood. In 2020, Jadon Haselwood only appeared in 3 games as he tore his ACL in the offseason heading into that season, so he was very limited. He came back earlier than he was actually supposed to, but when he came back, he was a very limited player. In those 3 games, he had 4 receptions for 65 yards, averaging 16 yards per reception. In the video that I made, I said he was going to be destined for a breakout 2021 season. I was talking about how they had a potential Heisman winning quarterback in Spencer Rattler, the explosive Lincoln Riley offense, and how he was going to have a big role in that offense. Looking at his 2021 campaign, I can say that Jadon Haselwood didn't really break out. Jadon Haselwood had a solid season, especially with how much the Oklahoma Sooners spread out the ball and how they switched quarterbacks mid-season from Spencer Rattler to Caleb Williams. But he still did not have a breakout season, to my opinion. If a breakout season is 39 receptions, 399 yards, and 6 touchdowns, I don't think that's really a breakout season for a player of his caliber. I think Jadon Haselwood is a guy who can have a way bigger season than that, especially in a way bigger role on an offense that is more focused on less receivers. All in all, it was still a decent season. It's just Oklahoma spread the ball out so much that Jadon Haselwood, who led the team in receptions and receiving touchdowns, only had 39 receptions and 6 receiving touchdowns. He will be playing for Arkansas in the 2022 campaign, where I expect him to have a much bigger season than this last one. The next player that I had in the video was Tennessee running back transfer to North Carolina, Ty Chandler. Now, in the video, I talk about how Ty Chandler was destined to have his best season yet as a Tar Heel in his college football career. At Tennessee, he was there for 4 seasons where he was never necessarily the main back in that system. He was a reliable back, but he was never the main back. He was never the workhorse. And at North Carolina, I thought his opportunities were going to go way up as the main running back. At Tennessee, he had 2,046 yards in 4 seasons and 13 touchdowns, while averaging 5 yards per carry. For his 2021 campaign as a Tar Heel, I can confidently say this was a breakout season. This was easily his best season in his college football career and his biggest one yet. He was also the main focus in the running back room instead of being a split back with Tennessee the 4 years he was there. In 13 games for North Carolina in 2021, he had 1,092 rushing yards, averaging 6 yards per carry, 13 total touchdowns on the ground, 216 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. He is going to be in the 2022 NFL Draft. Since he no longer has any college eligibility, I can definitely see him getting drafted, especially after this strong 2021 campaign. The next player that I talked about in the video was Tulane wide receiver Duece Watts. In his 2020 campaign, he played in 9 games where he had 31 receptions for 512 yards, averaging 16.5 yards per reception and 6 touchdowns. I thought this was a big season for Duece, and I was expecting him to have an even bigger 2021 campaign because honestly, I saw Tulane as a sleeper team. I thought they proved a lot with some young players in 2020, and I thought in 2021 that they could be an even better team, and that was the same for Duece Watts. Duece Watts would not have as big of a 2021 campaign as he did of his 2020 campaign. He wasn't a bad player by any means, but he just wasn't getting targeted as much, and he just wasn't as big in the pass game as I thought he was going to be. He had 16 receptions for 286 yards, equating up for almost 18 yards per reception and 2 total touchdowns through the air. I also thought the team was going to be a lot better, especially in year 2 under Michael Pratt. I still think Michael Pratt is a pretty good quarterback, and that Tulane has some pretty underrated players, like Duece Watts, but I just expected more from them in 2021, just like some others may have too, especially after that Oklahoma game. Although this is not his best season, I believe in 2022, Duece Watts will have a bounce-back season. In the video, the next guy that I talked about after Duece Watts was Arik Gilbert, the LSU tight end / wide receiver that was going to play for Georgia in 2021. In the video, I talked about his pretty big 2020 campaign, where in 8 games played, he had 35 receptions for 368 yards and 2 touchdowns. A pretty good season for a true freshman, especially playing in the tough SEC. And he made it known that he was going to transfer, and he ended up transferring to Georgia. In the video, I was really high on Gilbert. I thought this guy was really good as a true freshman, and he was only going to get better. And I thought paired up with JT Daniels at Georgia, I thought he was going to have his best season yet and only get better as a player and help Georgia compete for a national title. Well, that would not be the case, as Arik Gilbert would not play in a single game for Georgia. In fact, I don't even think he suited up, as he had a personal issue go on before the season, so he took a step away from the team and did not play in a single game in 2021, but he is still technically a national champion, although he really wasn't present at all. He is coming back, and he is officially back for Georgia for 2022, and this time, I am expecting him to have his best season yet. Yes, this time. It was supposed to be 2021, but I'm going to carry over my prediction from 2021 over to 2022, since now he's actually playing. The last player that I talked about in that video was linebacker Noah Sewell. Now, Sewell was a true freshman in 2020 for the Ducks, but he already made his name known, as he had a big freshman season and only 7 games played, as he had 48 total tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. I was really high on him then, and I'm even higher on him now. He is coming off a strong 2021 campaign, and I do believe this is a breakout season, as in 14 games played, he had 114 total tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 1 interception, 5 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles in 2021. Sewell just keeps on getting better and better, and he's a huge part of that Oregon Ducks defense. And in 2022, honestly, I think he's going to be an even better player than he was in 2021. I don't feel like that's out of the question to say. I believe he's a top linebacker, and I believe he's just going to keep on getting better and better as time goes on. Well, guys, if you made it this far in the video, tell me what you guys thought about it. If you want to see more videos like this, where I talk about some of my preseason predictions for the 2021 college football season, and I talk about them in a video revisiting them. Before y'all head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly out.